Hello, and welcome back to the Southern Bible Thumper channel. For this upload, we will be reading Leviticus chapter 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, Speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, There shall none be defiled for the dead among his people, but for his kin that is near unto him, that is, for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother, and for his sister, a virgin, that is nigh unto him, which hath had no husband, for her may he be defiled. But he shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, to profane himself. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. They shall be holy unto their God, and not profane the name of their God. For the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and the bread of their God, they do offer. Therefore they shall be holy. They shall not take a wife that is a whore, or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his God. Thou shalt sanctify him therefore, for he offereth the bread of thy God. He shall be holy unto thee, for I, the Lord which sanctify you, am holy. And the daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the whore, she profaneth her father. She shall be burnt with fire. And he that is the high priest among his brethren, upon whose head the anointing oil was poured, and that is consecrated to put on the garments, shall not uncover his head, nor rend his clothes. Neither shall he go in to any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or for his mother. Neither shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his God, for the crown of the anointing oil of his God is upon him. I am the Lord. And he shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow, or a divorced woman, or a profane, or an harlot. These shall he not take, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. Neither shall he profane his seed among his people, for I, the Lord, do sanctify him. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron, saying, Whosoever he be of thy seed in their generations that hath any blemish, let him not approach to offer the bread of his God. For whatsoever man he be that hath a blemish, he shall not approach. A blind man, or a lame, or he that hath a flat nose, or anything superfluous, or a man that is broken footed, or broken handed, or crook backed, or a dwarf, or that hath a blemish in his eye, or be scurvy, or scabbed, or hath his stones broken, no man that hath a blemish of the seed of Aaron, the priest, shall come nigh to offer the offerings of the Lord made by fire. He hath a blemish. He shall not come nigh to offer the bread of his God. He shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy. Only he shall not go in unto the veil, nor come nigh unto the altar, because he hath a blemish, that he profane not my sanctuaries, for I, the Lord, do sanctify them. And Moses told it to Aaron, and to his sons, and unto all the children of Israel. Summarizing Leviticus chapter 21, God commands Moses to communicate to Aaron. A priest is not to make himself unclean by touching the dead body of a relative. His mother, father, son, daughter, and brother can touch the dead body, and his sister can if she's an unmarried virgin. And what this is Aaron has, or the priest has, special rules about mourning the dead and about honoring the dead in the ceremonies. So that's what this is. God is telling him there's certain things that you can't do. You can't touch the dead body. Um, and verse 4 is suggesting that this is through marriage. Let me look it up in Bible Rough. So the New Living Translation is saying, don't defile himself by making himself unclean by someone who's only related to him by marriage. That's what this is saying. The mother, father, son, daughter uh, in his family can touch the body, but not him. And especially if they're only related through marriage. So this one was still a little confusing to me, but nevertheless, priests are not to participate in creating bald spots on the head, shaving the corners of the beard, or cutting their flesh. These are mourning activities. They have to remain holy because priests officiate sacrifices. Also, they're not to marry a woman that's a harlot or profane or a divorced woman. The priest must be holy because of his role as a offering officiator. If a priest's daughter profanes herself with promiscuity, she profanes her father and should be burned with fire. The priest can't uncover his head or tear his clothes. Remember, he has to wear a special uniform, which includes a hat and a medallion over the head, so he has to wear that. Verse 11, the priest is not to go near a dead body or touch the dead body, even of the father or mother. Don't leave the sanctuary to attend to the dead while the anointing oil is on you. So any ceremony that is, maybe the burial, priest can't attend. A priest shall take a virgin to wife, so his children won't be profaned. Again, we're hearing this. Verse 17, tell Aaron that any of his blemished offspring are not fit to serve as a priest. Verse 18 through 21, list what qualifies as a blemish. So what this is saying is any descendants that come from Aaron, if they have these certain conditions, they're not qualified to serve as priests because they're seen as blemishes. So if they're blind, if they're lame, if they have a flat nose or some sort of disfigurement, deformity, a superfluous or extra body part, an injured foot or hand, if they're hunchback, if they're a dwarf, if they have damaged testicles or broken stones, skin sores, scabs or scurvy, or a defective eye. Now, a descendant of Aaron that's a male can eat of the holy offerings that have been apportioned for them, but they can't serve fully as a priest because of their blemish. I don't want to see a quote, because of the blemish. And verse 23 says the blemish will defile the holy areas. So the first thing that I want to highlight and not just glaze over, because with Christianity, a woman's purity is a big deal, and I know, we're going to get into it. A woman's experience, reputation, and proximity to men impacts her options in society, and that's what we're seeing here in Leviticus chapter 21, verse 3. She can only participate fully in the ritual if she's a virgin and unmarried, because the man's access to her changes her value, and now she's not able to, I don't want to keep doing the air quotes because that is what is written here. And even though I may have my own feelings about it, things are what they are. And you can't just decide not to believe in something because you don't like it. That's just, do you not pay taxes? Do you not live indoors somewhere? I'm not going to get into that tangent. I'm going to stick to what's going on here, right? But a woman's experience with men, her connection to men, it limits and impacts her options in society. Rarely is life fair, even if you meet all of the requirements and you are the ideal candidate for a scenario. It's still not going to be fair. If you go ahead and accept this universal truth, especially as a woman, it allows objective observation to flourish so you can collect information and use that information to your advantage. Accepting universal truths like rarely is life ever fair, it allows your negative experiences to become depersonalized. You just understand that it's not fair, and that's just the condition of earth. Do not ever internalize negativity, especially as a woman. People normally behave in line with their inner values. So we see here verse 3, verse 9, or verse 7, verse 9, and verse 14. A priest can only marry a virgin. We see that a priest's daughter, if she plays the part of a whore, she should be burned with fire. And then a woman who is not a virgin, she can't participate fully in the mourning ceremonies. So the Bible is highlighting the value of a woman's interaction with a man, or the loss of value when she begins interacting with men. But because men more often communicate biblical principles, they focus on a woman's value in regards to allowing men access to her, and it's often communicated negatively. I want to say almost exclusively communicated negatively, and as a slight to the woman. And it's almost like she holds the negativity. But did we read it correctly? The woman, when she interacts with the man, she loses her value. It's the man that usurps the value from her. That's why it's when men acquire women, like when you see these kings and they marry hundreds of wives, it's a value to them. Women, we we don't have to do as much to collect men, and even if we did, it wouldn't make us valuable. It would turn you into a harlot because letting men allow access, they usurp the value. Remember, Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22, it said, if a man lie with a man, as a man lie with a woman, it's an abomination. But it didn't outline the same thing for men. But when we looked at Leviticus chapter 19 and we saw how God outlined bestiality as abominable for both men and women, it said if a man approaches a beast or if a woman approaches a beast. The Bible specified bestiality for both sexes, but not homosexuality. And homosexuality has been mentioned twice so far as a man lying with a man. So I just want to throw that out there when it comes to these terms of value and these resolute double standards. It is imperative as a woman to read. It is critically imperative. Some of the benefits of reading, especially difficult, antiquated texts that require additional research: you develop reading comprehension, you improve your memory, you strengthen the ability to process information, and you amplify critical thinking. You also expand your vocabulary. The more information you absorb as a woman, the better equipped you are to strategize advantageously. Number one, as a woman, when you begin to just absorb information, instead of allowing yourself to be emotionally affected, take your emotions out of it and read. Take your emotions out of it and listen. Number one, you're going to start to see some patterns about a woman's worth, a woman's value, what traditionally women should be doing. So the emotional response that you have will begin to subside because most of it is repetitive. That's the first thing you'll notice. But the second thing you'll notice is you'll begin to examine connections to men differently. You'll understand that you're programmed to self-sacrifice because that is going to be your connection to the man. You're going to be always self-sacrificing if you connect yourself to a man. That's why you have to be really careful. But we're going to go into it a little bit more. So when we consider verse 3, verse 9, and verse 14, we can conclude that the level of a woman's interaction with men decreases her value. But what makes the woman lose her value? It's the man that makes her lose the value. Do you understand? Instead of feeling slighted that, oh, you're not a virgin, no. A virgin is considered admirable and top tier because of her lack of connection to a man. They're telling you right there that men inherently take the value away from the woman. Okay. Close interactions with men usurp her value. Women are then degraded through her close associations with men. Men do not have the inherent value that women do, which is why interacting with them decreases her value. The woman is blamed or considered dirty after allowing a man access. When we look at verse 3, the sister can't touch her husband after she's touched her dead brother's body, because after she touches the dead brother's body, which is again an interaction with the male, she now carries the defilement, and when she touches her husband now she transfers the defilement from one man to another. Again, she's more like a blank slate in this situation. The hyper-focus on women's behavior is the result of our inherent value that men do not have. So that's Leviticus 3, Leviticus 9, Leviticus 7, Leviticus 14. Okay, well, I just won't get to that right now. So Genesis chapter 2, verse 18 through 23. Eve was created by God after he observed Adam and determined that he needed help. on that aspect of determining inherent value. When you view someone and you think to yourself, man, that person looks like they need help. Uh, when God looked at his creation, first of all, when God was creating in Genesis chapter 1, he spoke, he created, he saw that it was good. He moves on to create something else. That's the pattern all through creation until he makes man. He makes man, he observes man, he goes, no, this is not good. Let me create a solution. The woman was created as the solution to the man. So when you see somebody, when you see they need help, when God saw someone and said, man, that man needs help. Does that sound like somebody who's confident? Does that sound like somebody who has inherent value? That sounds like someone who's incomplete, that needs an additional person to help them be whole. And that's what she was created to do, to help. Nowhere in the Bible does it mention that Adam loved Eve. When uh, I'll even show you in Genesis chapter 2, verse 23, when Adam saw Eve, he did not say, Eve, I love you. He didn't say, Eve, you have traditional woman qualities that I love. I'm so glad that you're a virgin. No, he said, bone of my bone, flesh, flesh of my flesh. He said her flesh. Now, we don't know how old she was. We don't know what her weight was. We don't know if she was feminine, fit, and friendly. We don't know because the Bible doesn't say that. Because Adam was alone and he was so happy to have anyone to help him that he just accepted her. Genesis chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. Adam went against God to obey Eve. That is how powerful the inherent value of the woman is. God spoke directly to Adam, and this woman that he never saw before, she tells him to do something and he go with her. Just remember that. That is how powerful she is. A man will go against God. Don't we see that now? The world tries to make you look down on women who participate in sex work, right? But who was their largest consumer? Who consumes these services from sex workers the most? Married men. Men who have made a commitment before God. That's who's on Instagram looking at your page. That's these married men. You talking about you got a husband, my husband. I'm okay, girl. But I'm just saying, these husbands are the main consumers of sex workers. They're giving the sex workers this billion-dollar industry. And these women let these men know every time you access me, you're going to have to come about your pocket every single time. I don't care if you don't got it. So I'm just saying, the Bible does not mention Adam loving Eve, but his reaction was about her appearance, her flesh, her flesh, her flesh. When we look at Genesis chapter 3, verse 15 through 16, we see that God punished Eve through her association with the man. Everything that Eve was punished was through her association with the man. It was multiply your pain in childbearing. It was bring forth children. It was your desire. You will desire the man. That's why I said in Leviticus chapter 12 that her punishment from God was desiring the man. That was a punishment for Eve to desire a man. She wasn't even created to desire him. Notice when we're talking about inherent value, and when I made the statement that men don't have the inherent value that women have, do you see how God punished women and punished Eve in her relationship to Adam? But let's look at how God punished Adam. He said, because you listen to the voice of your wife, you shall eat of the ground. Cursed is the ground because of you. God cursed the earth that he made for Adam. He cursed the earth because of Adam. He didn't even curse anything about his relationship to her. He just said, hey, you're going to have to work extra hard. Remember also, Eve didn't have a job. Adam had a job. His job was to till the land. It's in there. It's the first, before the first 5 books of the Bible, just in case you decided not to read any further. Eve was not assigned a job. Adam was assigned a job. The only time Eve had anything assigned to her was when she got punished. And then her punishment was through her attachment to the man. And everything is dealing with self-sacrifice. You're going to have sorrow. You're going to have painful childbirth. You're going to desire the husband. He's not going to desire you. Okay. But just look at the way Adam was punished and look at the way Eve was punished. Adam was punished through his job. He was punished through his relationship through the earth, not even how he thought of woman. Do you understand how powerful that is? God created woman. Woman persuades him to go against God, and which he listens. And then God doesn't even punish his affinity to her at all, but he punishes the woman's affinity to him. First, he has to make her have an affinity. Your punishment is you're going to desire the man. Also, the other thing I want to bring up here, when we look at the pattern of Adam and how he dealt with Eve, right? He listened to Eve. He took his own free will to go against God, even though God spoke to him directly. He took his own free will, listened to Eve, and then once he got in trouble with God because God spoke to him directly and he decided, I'm going to go against God for this woman, well, then he blames Eve. He doesn't even take accountability for using his own free will. He blames the woman. And then when we look at Genesis chapter 3, verse 20, he then calls his wife's name Eve. He calls her a name. And this is so petty. So after you get in trouble, after you listen to the woman, well, the woman said I could. The woman said I could. And you listen to her, you get in something, and then you go and you blame the woman. Isn't that the manosphere? Isn't that? The society was created. A woman had to be attached to a man in order to avoid homelessness and have access to resources. And then we understand that men are more attracted to women before their brains are fully developed. Your brain isn't fully developed until you're 25. So we understand men are more attracted to women before their brains are fully developed. So when a woman understands this information at 18, at 19, she's now trying to find the best situation for her for the rest of her life because she understands that 18 to 25, that's critical time for her. So she's going to make sure if she is with this man, he's going to have this, this, and this. And so then men get slighted. Again, men took their free will, created a society like this, told women that this is the deal. And then when women say, well, okay, I'm going to learn how to figure this out to my advantage. Now that's a problem too. Well, now you're a gold digger. Okay. This is why I say self-love, learn, listen. Don't get all emotional and don't let these men tell you stuff. You can't listen to them because these men will make a vow before God, turn around and give money and attention and time to women who they will call names and call them whores. You'll call them a whore, but you're a married man supporting her. And it's mostly married men giving her support. Okay. And not to mention how many regular women, how many married men will just talk to regular women or be on a regular woman's DMs. I've experienced that before myself. I got husband, my husband. Okay, have your husband. Ain't nobody looking at you wishing it could be you. I'm looking at you wondering if your husband is one of them supporting them sex workers. That's what I wonder. Nah, I don't view my value being attached to a man. I understand my housework is going to increase sevenfold. If I have a child, I'm going to be the default parent. I understand how much work is going to go into that. Oh, you're selfish? So what? So what? I wasn't born to be self-sacrificing. That was Jesus. Jesus is a sacrifice. I'm not a sacrifice. So we realize that the first story of Adam and Eve is God, the first story of man and woman, was not love. It was transactional. Man needed something. He needed some work to be done, so Eve was created. She wasn't even given a specific job, but just to help the man. And even when we look now, if we look at the manosphere on YouTube, how is the manosphere going to exist without women? How? Because they need a thumbnail of a woman, they need a thumbnail of an attractive woman, or a thumbnail of a woman looking humiliated, or they need to talk about how to acquire women, how to manage women, what to say to women, how to avoid women. Whatever it is, it's a topic about women and it funds your lifestyle. And honestly, these men need to be giving these women money. All the times I've heard men talk about Sexy Red, honestly, a lot of these men, you need to be paying her a check because she keeps your channel going. All right. The second point that I would like to make, okay, remember when I said life is not fair? Remember when I said it doesn't matter, life is unfair. There's nothing you can do about it. And even if you meet every requirement necessary, it's still not going to be fair. Verse 21, verse 14. Leviticus 21, verse 14. Okay? A priest can only marry a woman in her virginity. When you hear these laws about that seem like a slight to women, don't let it make you feel some kind of way because maybe you're not a virgin. I'm not a virgin. But don't let that make you feel some kind of way because consider what the virgin is going to get. Okay? The priest's responsibility, again, is to wear a uniform, to officiate offerings. And officiating offerings for the priest means that he has to murder animals. He has to cut out organs. He has to sprinkle blood. He has to monitor and diagnose leprosy and other skin conditions. He can't travel freely. He does not get paid money. Remember, he doesn't get paid money. He doesn't get control over the food. And both of Aaron's sons have been incinerated by God himself. On top of that, God doesn't even speak to Aaron directly. He speaks to Moses, who then speaks to Aaron. So Aaron is just like a figurehead. So a woman who's a virgin, who is marrying this man, this is what she's getting. A man who is not gonna, this is his life. That's the life she's gonna get. So even though she meets all the criteria, look at what she's actually getting. Does that sound wonderful? Because to me, it doesn't. Okay. So do not dismay in these double standards. Seek God for discernment in processing information and read what's being said. Okay. Another thing I would like to mention here. No, I'm not going to go through that right now. It's going to take too long. Very, very last point. Disabilities, deformments, and conditions are considered blemishes. These people don't meet the requirements to serve as priest. Life is not fair. Learn the rules. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching up until this point. The next upload will be Leviticus chapter 22. God bless you and have a good day.